Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Challengers Spring 2023. I'm Atlas, joined by Chronicler here for today's beautiful best of threes that could be pretty one-sided, but probably won't be, because this is indeed Challenger. Of course, welcome to the Korean commentators as well that we do like to step in and check out every now and again. Dongjun and the Marine. Had a great chat to the Marine. He's also ready for 13.2.
We just want to know they're okay.
Yeah.
Overall, the meta today might be a little different because it's challenged. Might also not be because it's 13.1. And as far as solved goes, I am firmly of the belief that if we would stay on this patch in a hypothetical situation where it would last forever, oh, there's so many things that we couldn't even begin to imagine.
Yeah,
but
actually,
we're not.
I think that maybe I heard word from Riot that we're just going to stay on 13.1 for the rest of the year.
I actually think that if that happens, down the line, it would get way more interesting. If you look at the development of games like Melee or StarCraft, there is a definitive possibility, I'd say a certainty, that there are a ton of picks that are really good right now that we will never discover because people are not going to do anything new. Because why would they? Because we're going to go to a new patch in a couple of weeks, and then we're going to be a lot happier. We're also going to look dumber because we won't be able to predict every draft anymore. So, you know, it's a trade-off.
Although sometimes we try and predict a draft and teams do really dumb stuff. So that is also a possibility. Of course, today expecting to see a whole bunch of Lucian Nami, Zeri Lulu, Zeri Yumi perhaps, maybe some Ashe. You know, Heimerdinger might come in there alongside of Varus. At some point in time. Otherwise, bottom lane, not going to see anything else. We're going to see Cassante versus Gnar about 7 times today in the 6 games that we potentially have. Let's check out the standings, though, as Harmalife Esports sitting at the very top at 3-0, having played an extra match yesterday. Only dropping 1 game so far, definitely very impressive. T1, of course, are going to be playing this evening as well, and they have an opportunity to get to the maximum amount of points, which is pretty impressive for this squad.
And for T1, they have done the same thing that they did last year, where they pick up 2 lesser experienced players, in this case Dahl and Smash, both promoted, and then surround them with a little bit more experience. Particularly Forrest and Bay, kind of go without saying. Forrest has been within the specifically challengers scene for quite a while now, and Bay requires no introduction, played in the LCK, played in on PSG Talent, so a lot of different teams there. As that first matchup, to me, should be a bit more one-sided. D plus Kia are insane, and Gen.G, last time we saw them, still were looking a little bit rough, having lost their 1 big win condition. But that second series, I do think, can actually be quite competitive.
Yep, exactly right. Of course, just a reminder that this is indeed Challenger. This is not a Worlds quarterfinal rematch or anything like that.
Are you sure?
Oh, it might be that caliber of play, though, especially if Lucid and Poolbay have anything to say about it. I think that D plus Kia, to me, have been the most impressive Challenger team that I've seen so far. I actually think you could plug all these 5 players into the LCK and they wouldn't be dead last. I think that they're a very impressive team to watch.
I wholeheartedly agree. Looking into specifically the top side of the map, Thanatos, Lucid, Poolbay, the only reason I think why these players are not caught up to the LCK is because D+ is very aware that come next year, they might not have their Showmaker Canyon combo still. Players have, of course, been with the organization for a very long time, but that does also mean that, you know, the costs are going to keep going up.
Yep.
And eventually, maybe they are made an offer that you can't really refuse. As for today, D+ Kia going up against Gen.G Global Academy as the first match. Gen.G Global Academy was a team that had one identity, and it was Peel for Pays. Pays is now having his best time in the LCK, except for that 1 match against T1. Forget about that one.
Not so good, yeah.
Not so great. And overall, for Gen.G Global Academy, I'm expecting that they really have to take a couple of weeks to kind of adjust and find a playstyle that works for them.
Yeah, of course, I'm looking forward to seeing whether they're going to have anything to offer, but I'm not really... I guess I'm not holding out hope for good old Gen.G Challenger this time around. Thanatos, Poolbay, Rahel, Loopy, and Lucid will be your D plus Kia roster. Of course, not in that order, as Lucid is the jungler. I just like to talk about it in an anti-clockwise manner, and
why?
I hope that that's okay.
I don't think it's okay.
It's because that's where my brain reads.
Your brain reads counterclockwise.
It does in this case, yeah.
Well, I didn't know that about you. Thank you for sharing that.
I just read the next word that was in front of me. That's sort of how that one goes. Also, do need to remind you guys that this is a Twitch chat and YouTube chat friendly stream.
Oh yeah.
So we will be reading your comments, such as Bun Bun Squish saying Atlas. Oh wait, hang on. I shouldn't read that one out.
You should not. Of all the comments you could have picked, that was the one that is not broadcast appropriate, Atlas. I expected better of you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Bun Bun Squish, I think you should probably be banned. Nightbot is really not helping, but was helping last time we were on the broadcast. Zest, Quid, Cafe, Lospa, and Winner will be your Gen.G Global Academy roster. Once again, red, anti-clockwise.
I really can't handle it. It bugs me greatly. As I really want to warn you, chat, don't abuse the position of power that you have. Atlas has a very short line from brain to what comes out of his mouth, as we saw just there.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically touching. As the key position is going to be the jungle. Lucid up against Winner. I think that this is an example of just praising Lucid and how ridiculously good he is. His Elise game in their very first one here in Challenger was absolutely amazing. Looking forward to seeing what he's going to be able to do now after a week's practice. Of course, one of the games I believe we didn't actually broadcast.
Correct.
One of the matches, so we'll see what the extra bit of practice has done.
And overall, Lucid to me has been one of the most promising junglers throughout the last year. The other jungler that was able to somewhat match him in terms of consistency at the very least was Sylvie, of course, called up. Now on Nongshim, because Forest, although his highs I think are very high and he's able to consistently find carry angles for T1 when he's playing well, also has a lot of games where it's not so great, where he kind of gets caught in awkward positions, where he tries too hard to force plays, and sometimes both those two things happen within the same series. So Lucid, to me, regardless of what happens to the rest of the LCK CL, should be, without a shadow of a doubt, the #1 jungler within the league at the moment, and that means that for Winner, you are going to be in a rough position, especially if you add the solo lane strength that the LCK has.
No, absolutely right, and I think that you're already talking about Lucid being able to potentially solo win a game, and then there's Poolbay and Thanatos that are also on that team. That makes it just seeming a little bit unfair on my side of things. Wolf doesn't like ice cream? Did we always know that?
I did not, because that I would remember that. I feel like.
I know he doesn't like fruit, which is weird enough. But ice cream? Really, Wolf? Defend yourself, please. Please, tell us. He hates ice cream? Bun Bun Squish. Another bait, perhaps?
Is it all types of ice cream, or is it specifically like one type? Because there are so many different types, right? There's sorbet, there's shaved ice, there's your classic good old gelato.
Oh, King Spartan's also confirming on the YouTube chat. This is when Twitch chat and YouTube chat are in agreement, Chronicler? It's an insane time to be alive.
Yeah, my goal is to make sure that even though you might only be in one of the chats, you see the other chat as your friend. We do not want to promote any type of conflict. We're not going to create an us versus them mentality. We're not going to try and pit the YouTube chat versus the Twitch chat. You know, that never ends well.
Unless it's a battle for who can have the most followers.
And the most wholesomeness. Come on, Atlas, be better.
How many of you can smash the like button harder?
No.
Is that how that works for Twitch? I don't think you can do that on Twitch,
You're a YouTuber, right?
No.
You're a consistent YouTuber, are you not?
I made a video at one point in my life.
I remember this was before I was in the LCK. I watched that video and I was like, oh, cool. Atlas is definitely going to create more content.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great intro video.
I'm absolutely going to create more content when we're not working every day of the week. I will definitely
every day.
do that.
It's 6 out of 7. Come on, man.
And I actually remember when I did make that first video and Papa was like, is that the only video you're going to make? And I'm like, screw you, man. And he was 100% correct. I don't like the I told you so's, but I definitely deserved that one. I believe there is a little bit of a hold-up getting into the draft. There's something that happens. Game #1, things like that. Means that we can spend a bit more time hanging out with you guys before we get into the action.
As I feel like YouTube chat is not getting the message. I'm not. No, don't say.
Is
don't
it Academy
say-
or main roster? It's none of them. It's their Challenger roster.
So colloquially, you can actually refer to them as an Academy roster because they are the roster underneath the main team. However, confusingly enough, within the LCK ecosystem, there is also actual Academy, which is a series of tournaments played over the course of a year. So they are a team that is developing, they are learning, but it's specifically challengers. If you're from, for example, say the LCS, then Academy would be your
that would
closest,
be the
closest comparison. If you're from the LEC, then it's the ERLs, right? The LFL, Super League, and whatnot. Although, of course, everyone here is Korean because it's the LCK.
Yep.
So, not a lot of. We had one Vietnamese player on
for
Bro.
like 2 seconds.
No, he was there for a year. He didn't play a lot though, and he
okay.
is no longer part of the team. As
Here we are, into the draft.
Are we though?
Well, we were almost into the draft. ATD09, I also really enjoy hanging
Is
out
this
with you,
just
my
a
friend.
yes? This is
Here we
just a
go.
rebroadcast.
We did it. We absolutely did it. And we've got 20 seconds to go. We've got a couple of bans. The Varus and the Sejuani, both gone. Not going to see those. Pretty happy to not see Sejuani. As the Elise, bit of a respect ban there for Lucid. Looking forward to seeing what we get next. Might be some Caitlyn ban action. Might be some Ashe ban to come through. Maybe there'll be a Ryze band away. Not entirely sure. This meta is very new, and we have no idea how it's going to go. The Yuumi going to be taken away. Very surprising.
And now, as D plus Key, you have a couple of options. You can opt to ban the Heimerdinger or the Nami here to prevent Gen.G from picking up either of those. Either the Heimerdinger with any pick can go for Zeri, can go for
Ashe.
For Ashe is obviously one that you don't really want to play into. But as D plus Kia, you might also look into just handshaking, and it looks like that's going to be the case here. Do have to say that Lucian Nami for Gen.G kind of rises in stock now that the only answer is Zeri Lulu. The Heimerdinger is still there though, so you can also go Zeri Heimerdinger and at least match a little bit more in terms of shove, or rather try and put pressure on the Lucian Nami lane as the Zeri does get locked in.
Yep. So it's going to be Zeri. Likely the jungle option afterwards. I would assume that Lucid is going to pick up the Wukong, and then Gen.G will just lock away Maokai and the Nami. From that point on, we'll probably see the Lulu locked in. Ryze will be then banned in the next phase.
Keep going.
Is there anything else
Yeah,
that we need to
you're doing
need
my
to talk
job
about
for
now?
me.
Oh, it's Vi. Never mind. Not going for the Maokai this time around. Huge change-up here to the draft.
Does make a lot of sense into specifically the Zeri, of course. Strong counter. Also strong into Wukong. We've seen a lot of teams really like that matchup. Actually being able to lock the Wukong down. Do have to say that with the Lulu there, I do think that both the Lucian Nami and the Vi specifically lose a little bit of impact. So Lulu is particularly very strong in making sure that when Vi dives in, you are able to actually either stifle any of the follow-up, you're able to wild growth, whereas with Yuumi, the amount of hard engage that comes through can be a little bit more tough to deal with. As Azir gonna get taken away here, and for D plus Kia, if you can R4 a Ryze here, that would be the dream.
That would be absurd.
Yeah, that would be my guess. If they go for Azir and Syndra bans here, then it is kind of a no-brainer for Gen.G to ban it, and then it'll be kind of be pigeonholed into that.
Yeah, I would expect that Gen.G would feel like they kind of have to. It's very, very strong at the moment. Will also work out very, very well with the range situation that DK have right now. They will be able to just accept Gen.G running at them, and then you've got shorter range, but a lot of damage coming out of both Ryze and Zeri.
You gotta ban
Wukong
Ryze.
able to be very frustrating. And there is the Syndra ban, like you were talking about. The Ryze ban should come in next, allowing Rahel to do one of two things. Either just pick Cassante, or pick Gnar expecting Cassante.
Oh, really interesting. So the Swain is specifically a ban to enable Ahri. Poolbay is one of our best Swains that we have within the LCK, especially now that Bulldog is gone. But by the way, remind me, I need to tell you how he actually got his name, because it's not the dog, as I found out yesterday, thanks to Kevin Kim.
All right.
But by allowing D plus Kia to still have the Ryze, I don't really see the point of the Swain ban, because yes, Ahri and Vi is quite strong, but Ryze at the moment is in such an incredibly strong place in the meta. Also, you have an incredible amount of power, I do think, on the side lanes, right? In terms of impact with the Ryze, able to actually help out Rahel and Loopy in case that they get shoved in, or you can set up proactive dives in case that they do find priority in the lane. As I'm not even going to talk about the Xante and the Gnar because I don't want to, because we have seen it a million times.
You also don't have to, yeah. You didn't even need to mention it. Top lanes exist in this game, I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, not too much to worry about. I think this Pool Bay versus Quid matchup is where my eyes are really drawn, because picking Taliyah into Ryze to me seems a little bit dangerous. Yes, you can outrange, but I feel like you just get outscaled just a little bit by the Ryze.
I don't necessarily think you get outskilled. The main issue for me is that the Taliyah won't have the same kind of impact, which is why I think D+Kia did a really good job setting up with the Ryze and the Syndra, because Taliyah early on isn't as great at taking over control of the lane. I think a Victor, even though I'm a notorious Victor non-believer, after Bulldog,
I feel like you like Victor a little bit more.
I like a little. I can see the appeal now, because specifically keeping the Ryze locked underneath his turret, I think, is a big part of making sure that a D+Kia comp doesn't snowball. Because if D+Kia at any point get ahead, as Gen.G, you don't really get to play the game. And with the Taliyah, your early ability to really aggressively shove into Ryze, I don't think is really there. I don't think your wave clear is good enough. And additionally, I don't think you have that much threat on the Ryze, although the Vi helps a little bit. So overall, D+Kia have what I expect will be at the very least 2 prio lanes, allowing Lucid to move around the map a lot more, maybe look for some early angles. And for Gen.G, it's going to maybe be the cross map. Maybe Quid can find a way to get an impact in the mid game. Gilfor, Spike, and Lucian obviously also really big. So overall, there's some capabilities, but I like the D+Kia comp a lot more.
Yeah, me too. I feel like D+Kia has the more standard type draft. Of course, being able to pick up the Ryze is something that we haven't necessarily seen a lot of teams be allowed to do, just because of the power level of that champion. Zeri Lulu makes me nervous, makes me anxious, but when it's D+Kia, not too much. Let's hop onto the Rift. I see you, Rubricate, by the way, just sitting in there being sarcastic over and over and over again. I love it. Actually, just a huge fan of the entire situation. Welcome, Valdez, by the way.
But you're going to casually remind everyone that we are a friendly stream. Collectively, on either chat, we're not looking for any type of vitriol to one another. We're all Challenger fans here.
That's true, and Peru, I don't know whether we will this year or next year, but we'll see. We did pick up at least C2. Alrighty. Just a bit of a defensive start here on both sides of the Rift. No 5 stacks towards the bottom side or anything like that. Just chilling out. Cafe and Lospa probably going to have a pretty okay time outside of that one little moment where you can really find some angles on the Zeri Lulu. Barrier has been taken instead of the cleanse. Respected. Not a whole lot to cleanse this game. So not too bad. As Rahel and Loopy just holding their ground. Not going to find the first Q. Oh, Ardent Blaze also doesn't hit the mark. A lot of value with the Glitter Lance. I reckon D+Kia have already won this lane. What do you reckon?
Yeah, have early brush control. Able to get priority here. And Lucianami in recent times has become more and more of a mid-game type of lane. Back when Electrocute was still strong, that wasn't the case, as going in real aggressively here.
Yeah, a bit of damage there onto Lospa, but not going to go down too low, and it has some potion see-through as well, so he'll be absolutely fine. Quid with a bit of priority here in this mid lane, which is definitely good news. Feels like the way things work in this current meta, Chronicler, is you try and get some priority in the mid lane, and therefore your jungler can do whatever they want. They go down and they win the bottom lane, and then you win the game.
Has that not been the... Well, except the bottom lane part, but it's been the meta for...
Yeah, about 6 months. That is still theoretically the case, is what it kind of feels like. Although, it feels like it's a little bit more optional to have the mid control, as Lucid finds a Q onto Quid there after he dashes on through. Can use that to transition down towards the bottom side where he belongs. Because that's where junglers go.
The one spot they're allowed to go. Lucid, of course, not as strong. Do note that Rahel did use his barrier early on, so maybe a feint all-in from Carthay and Lospa with Rahel and Loopy playing a little bit more aggressive. We'll still have Prio in this lane, so with the track that they have on winner, should be completely fine. We'll know the timings of when the Vi actually can arrive into the lane. Also have a ward near the Tri-Brush as well. And Lucid is in the area, so Rahel and Loopy going to feel rather safe. Can also imagine that they want to look for an early back, now that they have already had to use a summoner. Also allow them to gain a little bit of tempo in the lane here, as back's gonna come through right now.
Yep, I like it. Get a bit of that reset done. Lunel, also our the moderator of our Twitch chat on the LCK, has now been auto-modded, feeling a bit of the burn from what she provides for some less polite chatters over LCK's way. I really do like that. You know, sometimes it's good to see how you make people feel when you throw that ban.
I personally have the utmost faith in Lunel's ability to only give out appropriate bans, so I don't...
Ooh, Iron Owl asks which Varus skin to get. I always use that yellow one that he was released with. That's my favorite. My least favorite is the Heartbreaker one.
Yeah, I don't like Heartbreaker either. I like the, I want to say Cosmic one. I think it's Cosmic Reaver. Varus, that one is really fun to play.
Oh yeah, and
really like how it looks.
Is that the one? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. There's the Darkstar one too, I think. Is it Darkstar? Oh no, that's Jin. That's Jin. Yeah.
Well, they're both... I don't know. They're both 80 carries, I guess.
Yeah, true. Check out this top lane. Wait, never mind. Anyway, nothing more to talk about. Let's just wait until the game begins. So, do you want to go to the bathroom?
No, there's stuff. I'm really trying. You know, I had a coaching session yesterday, so I'm going full try hard. Yeah, I got.
Okay. Then give us some of the deep knowledge, as we have a bit of action here towards the bottom side. Good polymorph there to stop any of it. Continue, sorry.
Well, no, you're completely fine, because Lucid was spotted on the ward on top side. Immediately, Carthay and Lostby go for some more aggressive trades, trying to keep Rahel on the flick back foot. Of course, still a window, because Rahel doesn't have his barrier up right now. Also means that they will be aware of where Lucid is going to be for the foreseeable future. And as a result, Gen.G should be fine here early on. I do think that now that Poolbay has gotten his first back in, we are going to start to see some of the problems, as Lostby and Carthay not actually able to get the crash here. Lucid will get spotted, but still a bit of an awkward position here for the Gen.G bottom lane. A lot of people hovering towards that bot side, but no one actually going to commit right now.
Yeah, Poolbay possibly caught out of position here as he just sidesteps it beautifully. Seismic shove, not going to find the mark. Poolbay just walking on out of there. And this was being illustrated, like kind of what we were talking about before, with the fact that Poolbay can get into that river first, doesn't have to walk to the safe side or anything like that, moves all the way down, and then immediately D plus Kia have that control of the bottom side. And with that wave in the awkward position that we saw it in, Rahel and Loopy are very, very happy with the situation currently. Over a wave ahead, as that's a Gnar just being used for fun by Thanatos, as you do on the Gnar.
Cute.
Yep.
Love that. And I gotta ease into tryhard mode, because one, this is challengers, and two, I can't go from only talking about shenanigans, especially in this league, to go in all in. So I'm just checking in how everyone at home is doing. You know, how are we all feeling? How are the feelings of anger towards the other chat? Which I feel like the more I ask chat to be nice to each other, the less they do. So maybe I should just let it go.
I think,
but I'm gonna
Twitch
keep
is
trying.
being nicer at the moment, although King Spartan has had a lot of questions about Taric. Not entirely sure why he wants to see Taric so bad. I don't think that it's going to happen. We've seen Taric hovered in the LCK.
Didn't Life
that's
play
it.
like twice last year?
I mean, last year, yeah, but I'm talking about in recent memory.
Well, yeah, no, the pick is not anywhere near the front. And it's also because playing Taric into Enchanters feels pretty bad.
Yeah.
When engage reports aren't good at all, as a result of that, we don't really see Taric. We don't really see Braum as another example where...
I mean, we did see Braum yesterday. We saw a bunch of Braum yesterday. We saw Leona yesterday. Saw Nautilus again yesterday.
That's specific.
It was very challenging. We had a very challenging day yesterday. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
The teams today are adhering to a little bit more of a strict interpretation of the meta. Okay? And according to the strict reading of the current meta as hold up,
the strict reading says at 8 minutes we must fight.
You can't fight this as Gen.G. You don't have your illusion.
Well, there are 5 people grouped up on the side of D+ Kia. You can see that the Rift Herald is down very, very low. Zest in the area. Not going to be able to secure that one. And so, Gen.G grouped up. They are now going to disperse once again. And D+ Kia take the objective.
Unfortunately for Gen.G, they gain nothing out of this. Had they kept Carfade towards the bottom half of the map, could have at the very least shoved in a wave, get a lead there. But instead, they don't get a contest. They're too slow to the Herald. Zeri is still a good 2 waves up on the opponent, as a result also has an experience lead, although Carfe will ding 6 right now. And they don't really get anything. They are not able to find a fight, which I do think at this point in the game, if they can get a good engage off on one of the more stationary targets, especially with Loopy not having wild growth yet, could have been an opportunity there, but not going to be the case. And for D+ Kia, they're chilling. It's not like they need to win early game, but if they do win, already a 500 gold lead with a Herald still in the pocket, going to feel great.
Absolutely. Another reminder that this is in fact Challenger. People really not being able to read what's written in the name of the Twitch channel. This is in fact the Challenger broadcast. For the first time this year, we are going to be broadcasting it in English. But yeah, that's why Chovy isn't here, just by the way. Nice little all-out underneath the turret there, but Thanatos didn't actually hit Zest, and therefore not going to have to worry about taking any turret damage or anything like that.
Is this caster trolling? Yes, perpetually. I don't know who of us two you were talking about, but the answer is yes. As Drake has been not taken by either team thus far, would be an opportunity here for Gen.G to get in on that first, but D+ Kia does have vision. Would have a window here with Lucid and the bot lane backing, but doesn't seem like they want to go for it right now.
Yep. Papa also getting smacked by the Nightbot Banhammer. Sorry about that, Papa. I guess nobody is safe, truly. Yeah. State of the game, just a few resets being picked up here on the Gen.G side. We're looking for our first dragon. When's it coming? When's it happening? We need to find ourselves a bit of a dragon. Quid's going to come up towards the top side. Weaver's Wall comes in. Thanatos wanting to try and get a kill on his way out. It's a Cassante though. That's going to be real difficult to collect, and the threaded volley will finish that one off. Quid picking up first blood here on the Gen.G side.
Nicely done. Really good roam there from Quid, able to catch Thanatos off guard. Thanatos just a little bit too late. If he had a couple of extra seconds, might have been able to get a Gnar off, maybe get a counter kill at the very least, but not going to be the case. And now teleport is forced. Quid making his way back to the mid lane means that only a couple of plates are going to go over. No opportunity to go for a further shove, but this should lead to D+ Kia also picking up a dragon, getting themselves an early objective lead.
Absolutely fantastic. Denunciator also says it really isn't challenges without bread, sad face. I have no idea what that means.
I, on the Challenger co-streams, used to very often talk about my homemade bread.
You do always talk about your homemade bread.
But it's really good, though.
I know. You had homemade bread, and I tried some just the other day. It was wonderful. It was bring your bread to work day. I forgot my bread, unfortunately, but Chronicler remembered.
Everyone always does.
Everyone always
I feel
forgets.
like I'm the only one that's participating in Bring Your Bread to Work Day.
And it is an actual day.
It was
It is definitely, everybody else does it.
Wolf, you loved it.
It was, okay. Yeah, but also remember, Wolf doesn't like ice cream or fruit, okay? He doesn't like nice things.
Actually, I'll take these. These is good enough.
Absolutely. 6.5 out of 10. For Chronicler's bread, pull bait, gonna get flicked back.
Wow.
Looks like he does not care whatsoever about it.
That's the last time that you are getting some of my bread, Wolf. No, I'm kidding.
I'll have it. I'll have his bit. Can I have his bit? I really enjoyed your bread. It was fantastic. Quid's having a really good time, by the way, on this Talia. I'm starting to believe in the pick a little bit more. I do want to talk about what makes it kind of good into the matchup against Ryze. We've seen it many times before, but with the power level that Ryze is right now, we don't necessarily hold as much stock in it, but Weaver's Wall can follow the Realm Warp quite effectively, so that is definitely a positive.
Also seeing that thus far, Quid actually has been able to pretty reliably remain ahead in terms of prio, in terms of tempo, making it very hard for Fullbait to actually impact the side lanes. And Drake gonna get started up here. There is no opportunity for Gen.G to contest this, so would not mind if they tried to look for a dive here. Winner also seems to be aware of this fact, but it's Ryze, so he just clears the wave and is completely fine. And Thanatos right now also not really sitting in any type of threat. Might have a free-man dive, though. That would definitely be enough, but not going to be the case. Instead, we are having some bot lane shenanigans come through here, Atlas.
Yeah, let's see whether Lucid can make this dive work as Loopy shields himself up and walks away. Oh yeah. Apparently we promised ARAMs and nothing but no macro shenanigans.
Well,
maybe not in this particular series because D+K's Challenger squad are pretty good. Gen.G as well, you know, the fundamentals certainly there. So maybe we won't have it in this series, but we might have it in the next one. Even then, I think Nongshim and T1 have demonstrated some pretty decent League of Legends. In fact, today, as far as quality of League of Legends is concerned, could be pretty up there, I reckon.
Question is whether it can match yesterday's entertainment level. That remains to be seen. As
oh, that's true. We're not going to be able to rate Head nearly as well as Wolf and Valdez.
Oh, we shouldn't try.
No, we're not going
to find our own identity.
Well,
I have mine because I cast challengers for a year, so it's really just
your
you.
identity is soup, isn't it?
Soup, bread, yes, beans. Also,
I think my identity is I can just be nothing. Maybe my identity can be Twitch chat. I identify as Twitch chat.
That is
Could
definitely.
that be me?
I can see that.
Yeah, I reckon that seems pretty good. I reckon this seems pretty good. I would love to be one with Twitch chat and YouTube chat as well, I guess, a little bit, but mainly Twitch chat.
What is this?
But the
there's
YouTube
unspoken
chat
resentment.
It's not resentment. It's just there's just not very much going on. All right, King Spartan, there you go. He's at least responding. Someone's responding. All right, in goes Winner. Looks for Pull Bay. Does have cease and desist available. The culling comes through the Ryze. Just walks it off. I guess that's the strategy. Walk slowly into the corner. He doesn't have flash though, so he's going to be stuck in this pit for a while. Winner taking a lot of damage as the Zeri's starting to pop off. Zest gets a massive knockback there and gets thrown out of the pit, but the Zeri's picking up too many kills. This could require some certification, I think. Wolf's in the chat. He'll let us know whether this in fact is a true Zeri moment.
And overall, unfortunately for Gen.G, their fight is somewhat split. I think they maybe get caught a little bit. Thanatos is dead. Yeah, I don't. Oh, never mind. Lulu's there to save him.
Yep.
Would have died surely otherwise. Thanatos
is playing with his food a little bit here, but he's going to hit Mega whenever he wants to, and just takes down the Cassante. That was the most easily killed Cassante I've seen in a very long time.
He did not have to go in melee range there. That was pure flexing. As what happens here is a lot of cooldowns get used in an attempt to take down Pull Bay. But unfortunately, they can't actually gain access to the pit because Thanatos is right there. So as a result, Zest and Winner can walk in, but the rest of the team is not able to. Thanatos then keeps the backline busy, and even though he doesn't get any big CC chain on Carfe, just knocks him towards the rest of the team, buying time is enough. Neither Quid nor Carfe can do anything in this fight. As a result, Pull Bay lives for way longer than reasonably should be expected, and there is no threat on Zeri whatsoever, especially with double summoners still up. So as a result, Rahel just picks up a bunch of kills, and this to me is very
we cut the
disrespectful.
video. We're like, oh,
it was mean.
Yeah, we just shouldn't actually show that. And I'm really glad that we made the decision to move away from putting that one on camera. We might have got into a little bit of trouble. We're going to check out the matchup once again as Thanatos throws a very, very satisfying house at that minion wave. And D+K sitting at about 2,000 gold in the lead, but I honestly feel like this game is basically over. It's pretty crazy. Just the fact that if you can get a team fight like that for a Zeri at this stage of the game, it really does feel difficult to come back into, given the state of the compositions on both sides. See whether Gen.G can make the big play to come back, and I think that so much is on the shoulders of Quid to make that happen.
When summoners are down, there is a capability to at least get on top of Rahel, but with the Lulu also there, just via ulting it and maybe Cassante being there as well isn't enough, so you're really going to rely on a substantial misposition from Rahel, who is of course playing a very short-range character as Pull Bay.
Yo, is he going to be able to get out? Yes.
He's fine.
Yeah. Seismic Shove was needed there. Did not connect with the Ryze in time, and he just gets out. D plus Kia going to dive the turret here as, oh my goodness, Cafe went so far, but not far enough. That was so sad.
False feeling of security there for the Lucian, and not only does he die, but he also uses both summoners. So that means that in a subsequent team fight, Thanatos still has his flash available, has a lot more backline threat, and I also believe that Cafe being able to get close to Rahel is really, really big. So kind of a toughie here as he, again, just barely gets away with it. Poolbay is a man of impeccable timing.
He is indeed, and very frustrating as well to deal with. As D plus Kia bring us to our Dragon Soul of choice, being the Wind Soul. Very happy that we get that. Jeff also fell down as the second Drake of the game after the Lake Drake did get taken. Very happy to be back on the Challenger broadcast where Drakes are named correctly. A little bit sad that we don't get Static Drake. We just haven't had very many Hextechs. After Worlds was like majoritively Hextechs. I feel like we've just been robbed of Hextech Drakes.
Yeah.
Where have they been?
Is he gonna fall for it? Does not have his Seraphs yet.
Doesn't quite have his flash available yet either, as, yeah, it takes about half of his health bar there, and then Gen.G decides to run away.
Don't you love Rite of Ages
Rise?
He doesn't even have his Seraph shield yet.
No.
Yeah, doesn't really particularly care. The one win there for Gen.G is they did get the teleport from Thanatos, meaning that now if they want to set up a considerable amount of pressure on the bot side of the map or on any off side of the map, they will be able to. Thanatos, if he matches Zest, will be in trouble, but Poolbay still as is, so looks like they are just going to send the Rise over. I don't know to what extent Zest will actually be able to threaten Poolbay in the side lane, considering that Poolbay has hit his 2 item spike, and overall, feels like Gen.G is just being slowly choked out of this game. Unsurprisingly, the majority of the damage has been done by Quid, who I think is in a great position to get a lot done here, has a lot of value with his E towards Thanatos and Lucid, but actually winning the fights thus far hasn't really happened for Gen.G. And Alice, I want to...
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. I want to talk about Thanatos' name, because it's
right.
one of my favorite names that we have in Challengers.
Isn't it a boss from Lost Ark?
Well, I was firmly under the impression that it was a... Because it also means death. I think it's also the god of death in Greek.
Okay.
Within Greek mythology. And I was always under the impression that Thanatos maybe was just a fan of Greek mythology. But having learned what I learned yesterday about Bulldog, I am now starting to think that he actually is just named after the boss in Lost Ark. Because Bulldog, the player that is currently in the LCK, one of the best challenger players that we had last year, is not named Bulldog because of the dog. He's named that because in MapleStory, there is a, if I remember correctly, a magician class that has both fire and poison, and that is Bull and Dog.
Ah.
So it's just MapleStory. We always get back to MapleStory, and as a result, I'm like, there is no way that Thanatos didn't just see that boss in Lost Ark and thought, cool. That's going to be my new name. Quid is definitely in trouble.
Yeah, well, he's going to flash. Gets knocked up there as well as Loopy's going to run up. Skippy. Seismic shove is decent. Rahel might just come over and collect the kill, though. Lucid is going to steal that one away, but yeah, bad to worse is where things are going here. And yeah, I actually, because I only recently played Lost Ark when the English servers were released, very much enjoyed it. Valdez and I played through that one quite a lot. But then I saw the Thanatos boss and I was like, aha! It makes sense! Because of course, Lost Ark's still extraordinarily popular here in Korea. So yeah, that sort of made sense to me. Unfortunately, no Greek gods to be represented just yet.
Well, once Thanatos...
I mean, Zeus is kind of there.
Well, Thanatos still... It still is factually also the name. And I don't know this. This is just me making an educated guess based on the fact that everyone that's playing in Challengers either plays MapleStory or Lost Ark Edition alongside League.
Yeah.
Maybe they played it beforehand. I don't know if they're still playing. Suffice it to say that they're all gamers, which should not be surprising given that they are currently playing in a professional League of Legends tournament.
Whoa. There's a Thanatos in chat?
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right, well, Thanatos, which one are you named after? Let us know in chat.
I might add that once Thanatos, I'm not saying if, I'm saying once Thanatos makes it to the LCK, if he actually ends up delivering on his promise and the matchup between him and Zeus is actually going to be good, like Battle of the Greek Gods in top lane, that's a story point.
Hey, that is very true. Hey, you never know. If he just keeps up this level of performance, he might be playing in the LCK. Him and Canna might be fighting for that top lane spot on the main roster. We'll just have to find out, of course. One of the reasons why we're commentating Challenger this year is because it is so much easier to get promoted. Any week, you could just come up from Challenger.
Promoted anymore, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just all the one roster, basically. So very likely that we could see a lot of very, very quick promotions, as Rahel just going to run at the entire enemy team. Not sure whether I really like that idea, as in goes Winner. Seismic Shot's not going to find too much joy though, and now Winner is just all on his lonesome. The ult comes through from Rahel, and he's able to dance after the enemy jungler. Zest now will look for the ulti here, as he does manage to lock down the Zeri. This could mean that it's all over, as Thanatos doesn't find too much with the ult as the Rise is taken down. Realm Warp doesn't really work out there, as Thanatos, the last man standing, and he will be taken out. A little bit of overly enthusiastic attempt at a fight there, as Thanatos almost survives, but does not quite do it. And now Gen.G with a bit of respite.
Oh, D+K, that was not the angle you were looking for. They really go in really, really hard on a Taliyah, and you really got to make sure that when you hard engage into a composition like that has a Taliyah, that you don't get completely demolished, this was the case here, by Unraveled Earth. And that's what happened. Additionally, Zest getting a really nice pick off, Rahel already being half health before the fight began, and D+K also maybe with a false sense of security due to the fact that they have been so far ahead. But it's easy to forget as this starts off really well, right? Because Winner goes in very deep, nice W from Lucid over the wall, and if they just leave it at this, they're fine. They don't need to go for this. But pool bait going in there actually turns out to be huge bait, as the combination of that Nami combined with the Unraveled Earth means that the backline is completely fine. Thanatos can get like one person in his ultimate because they're fighting in a large open space. Isn't really where D+K wants to fight, and as a result, they are now losing the Baron, give up a ton of shutdowns. I think the one upside is that they might still be able to fight for the Drake as the white flag emotes come through. Looks like that was indeed picked up by D+K. That's the only thing that they were able to get out of that. And for Gen.G, a moment of respite, and there is that good old Challenger gold graph.
Oh, I love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Now with the Baron, they should be able to knock down some more of these turrets as well, get themselves to a bit of a gold advantage, as on the flank is Winner, just trying to keep Thanatos out of there, and he's going to be able to do so. We had a question in chat, pretty interesting one, asking why there isn't an English broadcast today. I'll just leave it there. It's one of my favorite questions that we've got so far. Keep them coming. Absolutely brilliant. I no idea how to answer the question, or which language to answer the question in.
Answer it in Australian.
I think that's the only one that I speak.
No, I mean real Australian.
No, I don't think I'm allowed to. I think it's illegal. I think as soon as I speak Italian? As soon as I speak Australian, then they just cancel the Twitch channel, and it's over. All right, Quid, not sure about that one there, buddy. As he weavers walls right on top of D+K. I don't think he's that far ahead just yet. However, he's still able to get out of there. Doesn't have his Seraphs, doesn't have his ult, doesn't have his flash anymore.
Flash in particular is quite big, as we might be looking towards a soul fight in 3.5 minutes. Teleport going to come through. Gen.G going to keep pushing. 50 seconds now is...
Okay. Pool bait just going to kill Carfe.
I think Carfe did that most of the work himself.
I feel like he's just like, oh, Rahel, you had a bit of a feeding moment? Hold my beer. And in he goes.
We want to reiterate here on the Challenger broadcast that all these players are incredibly talented, mechanically. In terms of hands, these are better than, I don't know how many 99.99s it is, but it's a lot of them.
This would be like at least the 0.01%.
No, I think you're even way higher up, because we've already seen that Challenger players can go to major regions and be very good if they are talented Challenger players. However, what they have in terms of mechanical skill, they lack in terms of restraint or experience or one might say macro sense.
Yeah.
And as a result, plays like that should be celebrated because that is how you get all of it out of your system before you go to an actually good region. And that's why everyone, we're going to appreciate those moments for what they are, which are little challenger oopsies.
Absolutely. We saw a mention of Photon in chat there as well, Rubricate.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for bringing him up. Him and Malrang are great examples of when LCK talent gets exported. Pub Smithy was here in the chat before, and he also believes in that, I believe, as Vikla and Prince. Pretty good, as it turns out. D plus Kia now back on the front foot, though, after Carfe's little whoopsie. And we'll see when they're going to take their shot to throw it back. Do you know what I like in Challenger gameplay too, Chronicler? It's like watching billiards. You know how one guy gets up and he plays for what feels like 15 minutes, just knocking all the balls into the holes, and then eventually misses one later on? That's kind of what it feels like. And then the next guy stands up. D plus Kia, they were the ones standing around the table playing pool. And then Gen.G managed to knock them off. And then they started playing. And now it's D plus Kia, they're playing again.
I've never watched any competitive billiards, but I'll take your word for it that that is how it goes.
There is, we could play some billiards. It's in the building we're in right now.
No, I'm aware. Yeah.
It's just downstairs. Yeah, is it downstairs? Upstairs? Upstairs? Yeah, it's upstairs.
I think
Thanks,
it's upstairs.
Wolf. Yeah.
Haven't gone. At some point in this season, we really need to go.
Yeah. Maybe when we have that quadcast that we've been promised. Just PSA, we have not been promised that at all. But it'd just be cool to play
I tried to get a
Valdez and Wolf
quadcast
as well.
for the last Challenger finals, and then you guys all had more important stuff to do.
Wait, we did?
Yeah, for summer. For the summer finals. I was in my room, and you guys, oh yeah, we'll see if we can show
the
up.
Challenger one.
Yes.
Ah, you were in your room while we were getting ready for the LCK finals, right? Here's a bit of a battle. Cease and desist comes in. Thanatos hops away. Winner's going to fight him. We'll see whether the Narbar comes in, and it does. Thanatos is looking for it. Houses aplenty. Does eventually go down, however, as Zest is going to turn up and get that one done, but Lucid has gotten rid of the 80 carry. Loopy having to flash away from this one. Seismic Shot throwing Rahel around, but now he's beginning the free hitting, and the Zeri is having her moment. Lospa now just running for the hills, and D plus Kia are going to narrowly find themselves the team fight win.
They're not even going to go for the soul. They're just going straight up for the end. They have a wave on the bot side of the map. We are 30 minutes in. And D plus Kia might just win off the back of a single team fight. And I don't want to single out Carfe because feeling pays his shoes is very tough. But boy, oh boy, is his absence felt here because Quid actually had an admirable performance this time around.
Yeah.
Not going to be the case, not going to be enough, and never mind. D plus Kia recognize that the current death timers don't really allow for an immediate end, and as a result, they will just take the Drake a little bit later. I don't know if there will be a window here for a counter Baron, especially with the Cloud Rift there. Don't think there is just enough time.
Well, let's break down this fight one more time, as Thanatos lives for way longer than he deserved to.
And the big thing here is that Lucid is single-handedly keeping 3 people busy, and even though we don't actually have Rahel in this fight at this point in time, had to get away to make sure that he stayed safe. Carfe dies, which is a lot of the consistent damage already gone, and then Winner and Zest desperately try to take down the Zeri. If they had, they might have won this fight, but Zeri, especially with Lulu, incredibly tough to take down, and now
has a GA.
It's very over. Yeah, no, this game is done.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a worry, but at least the game might be done. But the questions are not. And the Raider asks, why does Nami have swim animations when on land? And I think it's the same reason that Gyarados has a swim animation while on land in Pokemon. Spoolbay is going to take the Baron, as some action will interrupt the questioning, which I think is a little bit sad. Zest tries to get into that backline, manages to get that ult done, but Rahel is just popping off, and the rest of the team cannot do anything on the side of Gen.G. D plus Kia are just going to romp through this one. Rahel running after the Cassante, who's doing some decent battle, but I don't think it's really going to matter because the damage just isn't quite there, and I believe the GA is still up. So 8-1-5 now. for the Zeri. Absolute Zeri moment to be had towards the end. 19-8 is the kill score, and D+Kia will cruise on over to the Nexus and take it down. The Realm Warp just going to help speed things up.
And overall, D+Kia was in control for what felt like 90% of this game, except the one moment where they weren't for just a little bit, because they decided to just run it down a wee bit on the mid-game fight that they felt like they could force, which, as it turned out, if they had executed a little bit better, they would have, because they were very far ahead, and their 5v5 is hard to match. Gen.G actually a lot closer in team fights than I was expecting up front. I think a lot of the credit there goes towards Quid.
Quid was amazing. He was actually extremely impressive. Even in the LCK, we don't see Talia's getting that much value. I think that Chovy had a great game on it. We've had it picked quite a few times, but I haven't really seen quite that much impact. This game, Quid looked brilliant. The rest of his team just weren't quite there. As you could see, there was a little bit of a hiccup in the gold graph, but D+Kia did manage to turn that one around relatively quickly, finishing off with a 10k gold lead.
And the biggest one here or the biggest win rather here for D+Kia is that looking overall at a lot of challenger teams, they tend to lose composure. D+Kia actually was an example of this when we look at their summer playoffs run, where once they start throwing, generally they don't stop. And in case of D+Kia, that's not actually the case. They make the one mistake, obviously, against a better team, which I don't think there is in Challengers, although we will have to see them against Coma Life and T1. But generally, there are not a lot of teams at this level that can reliably punish that. So as a result, they just rely on the team fighting. They rely on their superior moving around the map. There were a couple of side lane pickoffs as well that really set Gen.G back. So if they can clean all that up in game number 2, I do think that in terms of sheer team fighting, they can match with, unfortunately, the exception of Carfe. Being a new player in of itself in Challenger is tough. Coming up after what was the best team fighting AD carry within the context of Challengers is going to make you, unfortunately, look extra silly, as we've seen that Pace is good enough to team fight well with the LCK, as unsurprisingly, feels like he's farming these up every single time that D+Kia play.
Yeah, the man is pretty good at getting POGs, but also playing the jungle and playing Wukong, as this, I believe, is his fifth game on the champion. Yeah, I believe it was his 5th game on the champion. So far, he's had a straight game on Elise. Otherwise, it has been Monkey King the entire time, having a great time doing it as well. So definitely some great play. Wolf asks, where's Noggery? And he's retired, Wolf. Unfortunately, he's on neither roster, which is a little bit sad. This is, of course, Challenger, so even if he was on the main roster, he would not be playing today. I love this meme, though, as apparently Chovy is now farming camels in New Zealand. I didn't even know there were camels in New Zealand.
Atlas, what the hell are you talking about?
Well, someone asked, where's Chovy? And the response from another honorable chatter was he's farming camels in New Zealand.
I feel like we should be able to distinguish between which chats we actually want to highlight and which chats we want to give the time of day.
Speaking of highlights, we're going to go to a few of those, and we'll see you after the break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Challenger 2023 Spring. I'm Atlas, joined by Chronically here for game number 2 between Gen.G and DK. Like how we got to once again put on the Korean commentators for a moment. Shout out to Dongjun, the Marine, and of course Nuclear, who are chilling at the moment, doing also some Challenger there. The three of them also feeling like Mondays are very, very long. I was talking to the Marine before, and he's still getting used to it. The 3 best of 3s in a day.
Yeah, it's not great.
No, it's a long day. It's a very long day.
Fortunately, it's challengers. So the beautiful thing that I've experienced over the last year as well, and I'm so happy that you guys like truly get, which Wolf was experiencing yesterday for the first time. I was actually really proud of him. Is that, and this is of course also somewhat the case in the LCK, but sometimes when you're really tired, you're kind of getting swept up in the insanity of series. You're like, I want it to last longer. You know, you're sinking deeper into the madness. And the beautiful thing to me about Challenger is it really encourages that state of mind more than any other league, any other broadcast out there, because it is truly incomprehensible what happens. Because, well, it's not incomprehensible, it makes complete sense because, again, a lot of fundamentals of these teams are lacking just due to a lack of experience. Because in case you were wondering and you're like, where are Chovy and Showmaker? This is Challenger broadcast. The kids that you see that are playing are generally between 16 and 19 years old. So they are very young. A lot of them have been playing in the Academy series, but if you think that Challengers is a fiesta, then Challenger, or Academy rather, is something else. And this is an opportunity for all of you viewers, everyone who's cool enough to be watching right now. You can see a player today, a player like Lucid, and when he wins the LCK, like 3 years down the line, you can be like, I was there when he still did kind of questionable stuff, which I guess you would have to watch last year because this time around it doesn't really happen anymore.
No, he's pretty good. Yeah. They're just pretty clean. I was actually I was talking to Jay, who's he was formerly for Gen.G's main roster and has now moved over to D+ Kia, but he was talking about the fact that D+ Kia's main roster and their Challenger roster actually scrim a fair bit. And yes, the main roster generally smashes them, but the D+ Kia Challenger roster is very, very good at adapting pretty quickly to what they lose to in those games. So very, very cool. Bit of insight onto this squad, and maybe that's a reason as to why they are so good.
Well, it's also just being considered worthy, and obviously they're part of the roster, but there is no way that D+ Kia would have them scrim if there was no benefit at all.
Yeah, true.
And obviously for the main team, maybe they can try some more unorthodox strategies and whatnot, and they, as you point out, I'm sure will win 99 out of 100 times. But the fact that they're doing it in the first place, to me, sends a very clear signal that these are top of the level. Like, D+ Kia is one of the teams that is one of the 2 front runners to win the LCK. 5 out of 9 teams in the main LCK voted for them to win the split.
Yeah.
So getting to scrim them, that's gonna...
That's pretty good.
That's in of itself a glowing type of recommendation.
Yeah, it's a pretty good practice as well for a Challenger squad to be able to do that as well, because not a lot of these Challenger teams are actually capable of scrimming the LCK teams because, of course, they prioritize a different practice, one could say.
One might think back to when Gen.G had Lospa come in playing Alistair, and Ruler said, "Good job, Alistair." At the end. Really showcasing that level of integration is not necessarily a given between the 2 rosters, especially not last year.
I remember that.
That's so good.
Oh dear, poor Lospa. All right, we're very, very close to hopping into pick and ban for game number 2 of D+ Kia Challenger versus Gen.G Global Academy. Of course, meaning we are on the Challenger broadcast. Another reminder, Chovy he hasn't been subbed out for a different guy, and the rest of the team subbed out as well. These are, in fact, different teams. There we go. For people that are struggling to find the Twitch channel, I saw a lot of people in the YouTube chat that couldn't actually find the Twitch channel. It is LCK CL Global 2023. And, you know, do your best to come over. We're still building the channel, so we'd like to get some...
CL Global 2023.
Yes.
That is LCK
CL
Global
2023. Indeed. just we're building the channel, and this is something that Wolf has been very good at pushing for as well. It'd be great to get a few of the extra followers. Anyway, let's jump into pick and ban here for game number 1. D plus Kia are going to be on the red side, Gen.G on the blue for this particular game. We'll see whether we get any changes as far as the bans are concerned. So far, no real adaptation as the Varus and Sejuani are once again removed. Caitlyn as well, joining the list of pre-banned champions.
As thus far, the meta has not been too kind to viewers that watch a lot. If you watch just a game here and there, I'm sure it's fine. If you do that, you might also be wondering why a lot of commentators slowly sound like they are going insane, particularly if you are of the LPL or LCK viewer variety, because we have a lot of games happening in those two leagues. As we are just going to run it back, it looks like, for Gen.G. Don't love that.
Oh, I'd love to see exactly the same picks. I really think that that is going to really diversify what we're going to see in the game if we get just identical picks. So far, D plus Kia sticking to that train of thought. The Vi and the Nami going to be picked up here. We're going to follow up with a Lulu being taken away. As immediately, D plus Kia will then ban away the Azir, followed by the Syndra. On the other side, Gen.G going to consider some different bans. That Swain ban was a really interesting one, but a likely one that we're going to see again.
Atlas, why change to new draft when old draft good?
Exactly.
Why?
On the Gen.G side, their idea is if it's broke, don't fix it.
Why would you change anything? Why would anything be different in the second time? They're not going to ban Swain. They got to change something. That's got to be.
I think maybe if Ryze is banned instead, it would be good.
Don't ban Swain again.
Nah, just ban the Swain, Gen.G.
No, don't do it.
No.
Please, Gen.G, don't do it.
Because actually what we've done, we've accidentally just loaded up the VOD from game 1. We're just a game behind. We're just a game behind.
No!
So the Ryze is going to come in.
Come on!
Oh, maybe the change is that it's Thanatos that's playing Cassante this time instead.
Not again!
All right, Talia Cassante need to come in. Thanatos will then be playing Na, and we're going to commentate the same game.
Is this Edge of Tomorrow? Is this Groundhog Day?
Even the D plus Gear players are like,
Springs?
What are you doing? Come on, Thanatos, do something weird. Do something weird.
How long must we live in the same reality?
Oh my god, we're just casting the same game.
They can't do this to us. They can't.
All right, if we could just have a chat to production, if you could just run game 1, that'd be great. We'll go grab some dinner or something. I don't know. Oh my god. I mean, I've heard about like salty runbacks before, but like this is absolutely identical.
Springs just a scream, Atlas.
And remember, like Gen.G chose blue side. They chose to do this like the same way all over again.
Why would you not pick the? I don't. Why would you not pick the Ahri then? If you open it up, it makes sense. Wanting to play Talia and Ryze again, that actually was a part of the composition for Gen.G that worked out. And if Carfe plays better, I don't think that the Gen.G comp was the problem, but I don't know why you wouldn't look into what just happened and be like, hey, maybe we can try something different. Maybe we add a bit more dive with that Ahri. Yeah. Especially since we keep banning Swain. And I know Poolbay plays a great Swain, don't get me wrong. But it's not like he's going to blind Swain on R4, and if he does, then you can appropriately punish him. Picking like a Victor or anything with range. But no, it's the same draft.
Not going to be the case. Eric Place has a great point. Diversifying the picks with a Na. Very unique, very out there. We get to see it once again after this salty runback. Na, a champion that we just don't really see very often. So looking forward to that one into the Cassante. Hoping that we look at that top lane as often as we possibly can, because it's going to be so incredibly interesting. Gen.G Global Academy, they must have a plan. They must have an idea for how this can work this time around. Let's see what it is. Oh, we almost got it.
No, they removed the doo-doo-doo.
No, but like I
I don't think it's there anymore.
No, I think it can be there. It just depends when in the song you come into. I don't know, but it did happen. And it was great.
We were there. I don't know if it happened at any point besides that.
That first
day.
one, really? Oh, it makes me sad because that's. I mean, we should actually talk to production and get them to adjust that. Maybe I could do that now because we know what's going to happen in this game, right? I could just walk to the production room real quick.
Because it's a VOD?
Yeah. You could just play me from the last game. Just sub me in for myself in last game. I'm sure the things that I said will roughly apply.
I would if I could do an Atlas impression, but I don't think I can.
Oh, have you been working on your Aussie accent?
No, and I don't want to. I don't feel like it would be good. It would just be a lot of nar.
Nah.
Yeah,
you just... Basically, if you push every word that you say out of your nose...
Yeah,
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, oh, that's a bit American. You delved a bit American
great.
there. But that's all right. You're a man that has like a Dutch accent that's mainly a British accent, though. And so I kind of like what you got going on. So I'd prefer it if you didn't change.
It really is just vaguely European with a touch of British.
European.
Yeah, with a touch of British. I can go full Dutch. I don't know if chat has heard that yet. Well, non-co-stream watching chat. As here we go again.
Yeah. A heal button was pressed there from Lost, but that means that this time around it's D plus Kia that have a summoner spell advantage for the moment. Pulbay walking on rocks, a little bit frustrating if the Rise has bare feet. Thus far, does have bare feet.
Is this really live? No, this is a VOD. We are not live right now.
Yeah, no, you can see the one at the top of your screen. That's not real.
This is actually the first game.
This is a redo of the first game.
Yeah.
Gen.G, I think, didn't like the outcome, and so asked for a remake, and we remade the game, and now we're doing it again.
But no one has told the graphics team.
No, nor have they told Gen.G that it, in fact, counts as Game 2, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
Still, we're going to commentate it. Thanatos taking a bit of damage here. Does it mean anything? Does it matter? No. Because he's not, and it's versus Sunday. Squid takes a Q, threaded volley, finds a couple of hits, otherwise not too much. As Losper not going to get swept, not going to take too much damage from the Glitter Lance, and D plus Kia not going to go for their back. As Lucid here towards the bottom side, Winner also towards the bottom side. Very novel that junglers are hovering bot lane at about 3.5 minutes. Not something that we see all that often, but we'll see whether any ganks are going to be attempted here. As looking to clear out some vision towards the mid lane, as Lucid will be able to collect this Rift Scuttler.
Going to walk over a ward here, and will be able to spot it, clean it up. Definitely wants to go for a back. Little cheeky here. Going to get himself a large amount of information on the next respawn of the Raptors. Either they will be aware that Winner is on his bottom half of the map. In general, really good vision there, really making sure that Rahel and Loopy are being kept safe. Considering they were the major win condition in the previous game, does make a ton of sense.
I think they're also replaying Twitch chat, because Twitch chat is still talking about whether Nami has legs and can walk. As Winner, looking for a gank towards the top side of the map.
Thanatos was first blooded.
This
Diversion?
time, though, Thanatos presses E. Or is it W? It's been a while. Which one's Hop? Hop's W, isn't it? Yeah. Is it E? Is it E? Okay. I don't know why, for some reason, I thought that I was wrong. But I did.
I feel like you got it right the first time.
I don't know why I thought that Hyper was E. Why did I think that Hyper was E?
I don't know.
My brain is missing
it's
very early.
It's a mysterious place.
Yeah.
Just like Drafts in League of Legends. As Boya, Lospa,
Wait,
and
you eat
Coffee
peanut butter with
having
a fork?
No.
That's what Wolf said.
I don't... I collectively want to make the announcement that I don't think that anything that Wolf says in Twitch chat should be taken at face value.
I think everything
I feel like
that
he's
he
a
says,
very
everything he
committed
means
pranker.
everything that he says.
Well, I'm sure I've eaten peanut butter at some point with a fork in
Oh
my
my
life.
goodness! So he was right? That's crazy.
incidentally, when I didn't want to do dishes, I don't feel like that's a weird thing. I don't remember doing it.
But you said that it wasn't true. And now you're reneging. So now we don't even know whether we should trust you
Looking at the current state of the game, we see Lucid trying to get a even further leg up. Nicely done there. Gets the Q already with a big CS advantage, and it's looking rougher for Gen.G.
Yeah, a bit of a fight towards the bottom side. Cafe in trouble. The heal from the ebb and flow was decent as Losper is so incredibly low. Rahel as well took a turret shot. Had to burn the barrier in order to do so. As the flash comes out, Cafe was flashing for it. And there's first blood. He takes down the Lulu. As Lucid is going to walk back towards the lane. An absolute disaster, really, in the end for D plus Kia.
Really, that D plus Kia overconfidence coming through again as they try to take down Carfe and Lospa to low health so that they can then go for a dive. But one, winner is matching. And two, especially after Rahel took 2 turret shots, which it started off really well with him dodging a nice bubble, then getting a really good extended trade. And then they should have just taken it easy. But instead, kept going, took 2 turret shots, had to use barrier, and then still walking up into one of the most notoriously bursty duos is not a great idea.
I just love, there's a guy in YouTube chat that's just like, wait, game 1 hasn't finished yet? It's funny because yes and no. As we check this one out once again.
This is really clean.
Yeah, it is. And this is great play. Like freeze frame.
No longer.
Yeah, and then 2 turret shots. Barrier has to be burnt, and then it's kind of just under. And even this, you know, here still was kind of all right, but they managed to turn their sights onto Loopy, and he falls down.
Very, very unfortunate. As overall, I do think that D plus Kia is very clearly showcasing that when it comes to just pure laning, they are the better team here at hand, because they are barely behind, even with a kill going over to their opponents. But especially on Lucian is a pick that, when executed well, can really leverage these type of early kills into an early collector, which makes the mid-game threat that he has, especially combined with the Nami, which is why I've been seeing this duo so much, across the map, really tough to play. Now, Lospa and Carfe kind of feinting a move up here. Not going to be the case, at least for now, but with no prio available here for Gen.G, or for D plus Kia rather, I don't think they're going to be looking for a contest. Instead, getting a 4-man squad.
Yeah, this
counterplay here, and yeah, you got to sack, you got to peace out, and already not going to be worth it. I think we're going to see at the very least 2 plates here, but you're also denying a fair amount of experience. You're also denying a wave, and just the threat of Lucid and Poolbay heading towards the bot side of the map means that Lospa and Carfe really need to respect. Second play is just barely not taken yet, but the moment they get this, I think favorable trade overall here for D plus Kia.
Yeah, still likely that they are going to be able to take that one, so as you say, definitely looking good. Plus, with the position of the wave right now, Rahel dashing forward, gets an ulti. Decent little tidal wave there to stop things, but in comes the Realm Warp. That's the plate, but there's also the kills as Lucid is going to pop forward. Yes, he doesn't have Realm Warp, but thankfully, there is a Rise to come with him and deliver the monkey to the bottom lane. So now, we'd say definitely a trade in favor of D plus Kia.
And in game number 1, Gen.G thought maybe our play needs to be a little bit better. Unfortunately, what they did not account for when they ran it back in draft was that D plus Kia could just do the same and play better.
Yeah.
And they are. They are actually getting a lot done on the bot side of the map. Early kill coming through. One upside is that they do get the charge in mid. They will also be able to pick up the first Drake. That's nice. But Lucian, after he just gets a kill, immediately getting taken down, is very rough. Accelerating the biggest win condition for D plus Kia is a big boon for them as well. And overall, for Gen.G, this doesn't inspire me. This doesn't fill me with hope that this outcome is going to be any different than the previous one, as Poolbay I'm in trouble.
Yeah, there's cease and desist onto Poolbay. He does manage to sidestep the seismic shove really nicely. And now Winner going to have to get out of there. Just assault and battery. And is going to be a Vault Breaker, sorry, and is going to be able to escape. I was a little bit distracted for a moment because I glanced down and saw someone talking about microwaving peanut butter to make it easier to eat with a fork.
No. We're not touching that with a 10-foot pole. We're talking about
what about touching that with a fork?
No, which was great use of phase rush there from Poolbay to dodge both the seismic shove, which if it hits him, he dies, and the bubble, which if it hits him, he dies. Problem for Gen.G there is that they were a little disjointed. If Winner uses the ultimate in a straight-up combo with the other CC, then there is no way that Poolbay ever survives. Also noting Merc threats coming up really big there. Those type of situations, I do think that it can make the difference between you staying alive and you dying a miserable death. So overall, nicely done. And those type of gangs, I think, need to work for Gen.G if they really want to get anything done. As I wish Atlas would ever say to would ever listen to what I'm saying. Case in point.
I am listening.
Well, you did hear the mistake, but I get the feeling that, as you pointed out at the start of the stream.
What mistake? What did you say wrong?
I mixed up the words say and listen, which in turn confirms that you weren't listening.
Oh, no. I just thought that that's what you thought it was supposed to be. And I didn't want to correct you to make you look silly on broadcast.
So, sure you have a problem with that. So, very clearly, Atlas has one goal, and that's to unite the two chats and turn them into one big super chat so that he doesn't actually have to cast.
Super chat? That's a YouTube-only thing.
He can just interact with chat. The true dreamer of any broadcaster.
Well, I mean, you're currently commentating with former me, who is now going to just be played over the top of this, because this is the same game being played once again. So I can just freely hang out here with Twitch and YouTube chat, only half of which are capable of super chatting, and I don't even think you can on this particular broadcast. But yeah, Wolf does come in with a very, very appropriate question, though, which is, are we going to hit 3K viewers tonight? Because I really, really hope so. T1's going to be playing next, and we can see whether Smash can smash.
It would really, to me, be such a cool development. Having, of course, I think the highest at any point that we've hit with the co-stream was around playoffs, which would be about 1,000 people. And seeing that there is such a growing love for a scene that I think is incredibly entertaining and really a cool look behind the scenes of where talent comes from, right? How it's developed. This is where it actually happens. This is where future LCK stars are born. This is where teams like Damwon and Griffin were developed as well. Of course, under a different system, in a different era of League, but nonetheless, watching these players so young yet so talented shine, I think is always incredibly cool.
No, absolutely. I 100% agree. And I'm hoping that we can just keep building, because it's also really fun. I feel like there's a certain amount of camaraderie that we get with all of you guys that have come in so early on in this channel's life cycle and at the beginning of this challenge journey that we have. As Poolbay, beautiful sidestep. Flash immediately comes out. Lucid not going to press the Cyclone button early or anything like that, but Quid now without Flash, but does manage to keep his life at least. Check out this bottom side of the map. Rahel fighting against Losper and Carfe by himself, but he does have Poolbay coming down. Tidal wave timing is beautiful. And D+ Kia will back away. Back massage there from Carfe as cease and desist comes on in. The Weaver's Wall is good though from Quid, who is going to be able to turn up the Wild Growth. Fantastic onto Lucid, who just cyclones them all to death. Oh my god, the damage from this Wukong is insane. It's Quid gonna have to go golden underneath his turret. Rahel once again doing his favorite thing, which is tanking turrets. Poolbay going to be the one that suffers the most though, as he does fall down, but still huge win for D+ Kia.
Poolbay desperately trying to help out his team, be a good team player, tank those shots. Quid, however, sees that as an opportunity to take him down, and the initial play there from Gen.G, I think, was enough. Just letting D+ Kia waste a bunch of ultimates would have been fine. Then going for this fight when all of them still have a lot of cooldowns available in a position that isn't really great for you when you're already behind is basically the same as accepting an unfortunate loss, because now bot side is going to be completely snowballed, as we can see here at Poolbay. This one he doesn't sidestep, as a result will go down in the end. But now Zeri and Lucid both are so insanely fed. Wukong's gonna be unkillable as well, with Carfe being pretty far behind the curve, and the power of Quid and Winner being somewhat mitigated by the fact that Lucid has what I assume will be nerf threat soon, as well as a Hex Drinker already,
Yeah.
is making it so tough, because like, who do you actually target now if you're Gen.G, right? Your composition works best either if someone overextends, which thus far we've seen D+ do once, exactly, which was in the one fight they lost in the previous game. And outside of that, you need to isolate a target with Vi, with Cassante. But who do you actually kill here?
The person who is out of position.
Okay, but if it's Lucid, it's not going to work, because he has Cyclone and W. Poolbay is a Fed Rise. You gotta assume that Loopy is going to be nearby as well.
Oh, Rahel is out of position.
Well, is he?
Well, he sort of was.
He took a little bit of damage and then was fine.
All right. Well, if you're just going to be negative, I'm just not going to talk to you about it. As Zest, he's going to ult Thanatos under the turret. Thanatos is going to walk it out. Winner making his way in. Loopy following him. They know exactly what's going on. Lucid, though, is going to be taken out. And Winner wants a little bit more. Thanatos, just a mini-nut, and he will be fed to Quid here as Poolbay looking to run it out. It's going to walk over to Carpe here, and I think he's also dead. What the heck is going on? I was going to ask you whether we were cat or dog people because D+ Kia had it in the bag, but instead, Gen.G turned it on its head.
As I'm reeling from that metaphor, I really don't know what to say about it, Atlas, because D+ Kia is making mistakes that they definitely don't need to. They're going really deep on trying to catch this turret. In of itself is acceptable, provided that you actually have the backup. But because Lucian Nami are very far ahead of the curve here, you're in really deep trouble, right? You are not actually able to fully commit here, so instead it's just a one by one pickup. The fact that the game is still as close as it is a pretty dire indication for Gen.G, even after the goal that they got, and they also didn't get the shutdown on Rahel. But at the very least, they're able to keep themselves relevant within this game. And there, I guess we get an answer to our question, which is how do Gen.G get back? Kill everyone on B+, when they're
underneath
split
your
off.
inner turret. Yeah, with only 2 people. I think that's the right way to do it. So we do also need to finish off one other thing as far as naming is concerned. The different jungle Pokemon. Greninja is the blue one. We've already figured that one out.
Okay.
Flygon is the green one.
Yes.
And the red one's the only one that we haven't really figured yet. And it's kind of like a little cat thingy. And I was thinking Fennekin would be a cute one, but not a lot of people know that generation of Pokemon. It's a little bit down the line one, because I think it was Black and White was when Fennekin was in there, I believe. Delphox, the last
cannot
evolution.
help you in this conversation.
No, I was thinking Growlithe. Growlithe could be a good option. Or Vulpix. Vulpix is a good... Gatoran, that's a good option there. I think Litten also is kind of cool. But I think Growlithe is pretty universal with people understanding who it is. What do we reckon? We reckon Growlithe? No?
I have no take on this.
Legendary Poe says
watching
Litten
the game.
is like obviously it. Which is like very like... I kind of appreciate how sure they are, but I don't know whether it's actually true.
Trying to watch a gamer, Atlas.
It needs to be a 3-stage, so it has to be like... So it can't be Arcanine, because there's only 2 stages.
Watching the game, Atlas.
Oh,
you
yeah,
need
sorry.
to focus on what's happening here, and you're distracting me with your
I'm sorry.
Pokemoning.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. So in comparison to game number 1, what difference will these drafts create?
So help me God. Now, if you were talking Persona, then I could have some input. You know, if we make them Persona instead of, because Persona really gets in there in terms of wacky mythology.
Hey, that's
different
true.
Characters.
I need to like do more of my fusions, because I've only played. I have to admit, I only played like 6 hours of the game. I'm really pathetic.
And that's just Persona 5.
Yeah, that's
Haven't
just
touched Persona 4 yet.
Nope.
You're gonna love them.
I'm a bit terrible in that regard, but yeah, I'm hoping to get in there. Persona 3 is the best one.
Depends on what you like in terms of story. To me, all 3 of them are exceptional. They all have their own strengths. Very different games.
It starts at 3?
Well, 1 and 2 were very different from what is the current form of Persona. Basically, Persona started as a Shin Megami Tensei spin-off, as hold off, we do have a teleport coming in.
All right.
Gonna fight for Prio mid and then turn this into a Drake. This is actually an important Drake here. I do feel like I need to mention that because a possible soul point is there, and this is a very relevant soul. Can't give up an Infernal, even if you are the team that clearly feels like they're a lot better in the form of D plus Kia. And then I'll get back to the Persona.
That's taking a lot of damage here, and yeah, he's pretty tanky, but not tanky enough, and now Quid looks real silly. Wild Growth for an incredible amount of CC, and that is going to be the soul point denied. And a potential quadra-stack Infernal Soul for D plus Kia if this game goes that long. But I think D plus Kia can head towards a Baron and possibly even take that one as well. It could, I believe, get rid of Winner if he does decide to go in there, as Crush comes through from Thanatos, just pushing Cafe away. And yeah, D plus Kia, full control.
And now going to take the Baron as well. There is Winner still alive, but they are not able to walk up. There's full vision control here as well. Every member is available for D plus Kia. So no window here whatsoever, which means for us, it's time to go back to Persona. So Persona 1
Well,
and
actually,
2 is...
first, Chronic Bomb has asked this question a couple of times, and would you rather have a cat or a dog? I think we should just clear that one.
Personally, I'm a cat person.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
Was a dog person, I transitioned. It is possible. I own an emu as well. Yeah, Bon Bon Squish is correct.
You have to.
Yeah, it's an Australian thing. Every Australian owns an emu. It's like our spirit animal.
So, back to Persona.
Yeah.
As there's gonna be a lot of jokes about the phrasing. Persona 1 and 2 started as a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei, which is a great dungeon crawler slash RPG with very Pokemon-esque, but then a lot darker, very different story beats, and a lot edgier in general, I'd personally say. And hold on.
Yeah, Lucid just going to press W and be fine. Wolf had a very funny tongue-in-cheek comment there in the chat. Enjoyed that one a lot. And so it just, Persona 5 is different because it's got a little bit of the, shall we call it, the Fire Emblem Three Houses effect.
Okay, I know that you're trying to tilt me.
I'm not. I'm actually being serious.
No, Three Houses jointed from Persona. But as I was saying,
Oh, I mean, it's not about that.
the
It's not about ownership.
normal age of the current age of Persona started with Persona 3, which then was remade into Persona 3 FES and Persona 3 Portable, depending on which version you played. And that's really when it started to look like the current Persona. So you got the life sim, you know, you go to class, you go build up social links, stuff like that. And then 4 and 5 really perfected the formula as
All
that is
right.
a clone.
Yep, Lucid's clone is going to go on a bit of a journey, as we could see. We're talking about other games right now just because it is a bit of crossing Fs and dotting Js at this stage of the game for D plus Kia, and we'll see whether they can actually effectively do so. It has been somewhat difficult for some of these teams to really lock these games down.
That's my favorite comment in YouTube chat ever. What is pro players? Where's Shoemaker? That is beautiful. That's poetry right there. In case you're not joking, we will take your comment at face value because we are the beacon of positivity and inclusivity that is the Challenger broadcast. This is Challengers, so it's a league for up-and-coming LCK talent. These players are playing underneath the main LCK teams.
Yep, and could be subbed in at a moment's notice to the LCK, so it is very good to know who these players are in case you see them on your favorite team. It may just be a thing. As Lucid comes on over, taxis with his Nimbus Strike, love to see it. We've got a Drake coming up in a minute and a half. The Baron is done in 3 seconds time. Only a 3k Baron power play, not exactly the greatest, as the total gold is looking pretty red, and that's in favor of D plus Kia, as you can understand. And what we're sort of staring down the barrel of right now, Chronicler, is the unfortunate reality of Gen.G completely being stubborn in the draft, not changing at all, and then having exactly the same outcome.
Shocking how that works.
Yeah, it's a bit sad, isn't it?
And we joke, in the end of the day, or at the end of the day rather, the most important thing in Challenger isn't actually winning, so in the LCK, I would be a little bit more incentivized to like really go in hard on this. I do think that if you are the coach and like, team, I just want you to get stage experience with this draft in the current meta, because 13.1 is going to last for a fair amount of time after this as well. D plus Kia obviously is going to be extremely valuable practice. And I don't necessarily think that the comp as such is the problem. I don't think it's a great comp, but might feel like, as a Gen.G coach, this is just what you have practiced a lot. This is what you want to give a little bit more stage time. So it's not like it is as black and white as we make it out to be. But I also do not think that you make this draft and then expect there to be a substantially different outcome. It's very clear that the D+ Kia are extremely happy with what they've been able to get. They played the fights very well in the previous game, and they've been out-team fighting in every single fight that 5 does for, as well as Rahel.
Winner is going to flash on forward. Rahel able to get over the wall, though, and now has a 1v1 with the jungler. I think he's going to be absolutely okay. Meanwhile, the Cyclone getting all the work done. Quid down so extraordinarily low, and Thanatos finds the backline. That's the double kill to come through for Pulbay. And Zest, yes, he's pretty tanky, does manage to grab a kill or two, but Rahel's going to make his way back into this fight, and the cleanup will begin. Lucian unable to get anything done, and now Winner just by himself, unable to stop this Drake from being taken by D+ Kia.
And unfortunately for Gen.G, this is a Groundhog Day scenario. You really need to do something crazy to break the loop, or Palm Springs, or Edge of Tomorrow. Any of this will work. And they did not do anything crazy. So they are just going through the same motions again as they try to set up a fight here. Understand the attempt, but the Q already not hitting. Thanatos is the one that tanks that. So as a result, need to flash ulti to still get on top of Zeri. And Zeri is just completely untouched in this fight. And the
Zest did a really good job.
He really tried.
Big shout out.
Yeah, but it's just not enough. At this point, they're already very far behind. So fighting a straight up 5v5 that D+ Kia is clearly not caught off guard by, front to backing into a composition that has a very strong front line and a fed rise, just isn't going to work. And that's even with Zeri not being in the fight. Like, at the very least, Winner was able to not make Rahel matter, but so that's a favorable trade, but even that isn't really enough to equalize the game state as is. As a result, D+ Kia able to pick themselves up another Drake, surely gonna just go for a Baron here, and I don't think that there is any turning point from here on out for Gen.G, unfortunately.
The Raider has a great question. Casters, do you think the changes Gen.G made in their draft this game have made much of a difference? Chronicle, I will throw that to you.
I don't appreciate you putting these hard questions on me.
Okay, that's all right, because we've got a bit of a battle happening here. Loopy, really, really nice work pressing the polymorph button, and now the Culling's actually getting a bit of work done, but I think the wallets are starting to really gain some heft. Zest can't even make anything happen here as Losp is forced to flash. Pulbay gives him the good old thumbs up as the Nami is going to swim away, and now I think the game may just be over.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would
that's
concur.
to say that potentially it might have been over at an earlier stage.
while
But we're
ago,
not gonna say that, as this caster minion, the heroic caster minion, is going to be kept alive for as long as possible. Lospa makes their way back to their Nexus, but I don't think it's going to be enough there. And now Rahel can just have some fish food and look to finish this one off. The Swift 2-0 for D+ Kia, or was it a 1-0? I'm not entirely sure. You let us know in the chat. Make sure you leave us a follow while you're there. And that will be Nexus going down. First series won by D+ Kia.
And overall, a expected showcase of dominance from D+ Kia. This is what this team should be doing. This is what they did. The fact that they got to play the same draft twice for them must have been very funny, because they stomped the first game, barring one mistake, and then they stomped the second game.
Ooh,
barring one mistake.
We need to do POG.
Yes.
Well, obviously it's
Who
the
are
same
you
as the
leaning
first one.
towards? I'm gonna
It's
give
the same game.
I'm gonna give a little bit of a shout out to Pulbay. I think that his realm ops were great. I think his fighting was really solid.
It's the same game.
And he dodged
who's
a
gonna get it.
number of he was really soaking a lot of pressure. Very nicely done.
I find it really rude that you would deviate in this important moment where we've had exactly the same game play out in basically exactly the same way.
He's still going, and with he I mean Lucid, still going to get POG.
I know.
I am trying to get onto a different timeline here, Atlas.
Ah.
I am changing the decision making because, unlike Gen.G, I am trying to not be stuck in the same loop. And we joke around a lot. I want to, again, remind everyone that the most important thing here with challengers is being constructive and being positive, because these players are really good. but sometimes they don't make the best decision. This game, they didn't make the best decision 2 times in a row, but you can't even fault the players for that. More of a coaching style thing, and
No, I think it's fine to run it back, and we saw that there were moments where Gen.G were able, and while we joke a lot about it, you can understand why you would make that decision in the first place, and then you would make it again and say that it was a gameplay factor, not a draft factor. We personally think that the draft could have been adjusted so that there was potentially not a rise in the hands of Poolbay and things like that.
That to me was the only thing where that was straight up a mistake. Everything else, there's things I don't love, but there's an understandable thought process behind it. Don't think that's the case in terms of the Swain ban. It is, of course, a strong pick, and we know how good Poolbay is on it, as we got a little bit... Hey!
Oh, okay.
Nice!
A slight adjustment. Poolbay is going to pick up the POG. Are they going to adjust the POG for Game 1 then?
Possibly. Maybe we'll have 2 POGs. It will be a first for an LCK CL broadcast.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Might as well give it a go, as we are in fact AI. Both me and Atlas are not real.
Yeah,
we
not.
only exist in the
Wow,
as a
imagine
figment of your collective imagination.
What kind of crappy computer would have created me as their chosen? Oh my goodness.
Come on, Atlas, you got to be more positive about yourself. Just as we should collectively be positive of what D plus Kia has shown. This is a team that won challengers last year in spring. There still hasn't been a challenger team that has actually won both spring and summer. Hasn't happened. It was supposed to be this team plus Bible minus Loopy last time around in summer, but then of course the Nongshim Miracle run and Lord Dundun made an end to that.
They did.
And overall, Poolbay to me is one of the faces of this team. It really is kind of a throwback, and as well as I think Rahel and Loopy played today as well. It really is a throwback to Damwon in 2018, right? It's the top side, it's the Magic Trio, and seeing Poolbay, Thanatos, and Lucid play the way that they do fills me with excitement for what might be in the future for these players.
And I think the future is very bright, especially for the top side here for D plus Kia. So, still some struggles there on the bottom side. Rahel out of position a couple of times here and there, but really playing out the Zeri Lulu lane more effectively than a lot of others, as we are going to attempt to jump into the interview, but we're not actually capable of translating it just yet. We'll work on that for the future, but hasn't quite happened just yet. So you're going to have to... When?
When are we going to learn Korean so we can live translate?
Well, when we get a day off. Imagine that. Imagine having those.
That's not real.
We don't do that. We don't do that.
Because we're AI. We don't need rest.
That is true.
Has any of you actually seen us in real life?
If we were AI though, wouldn't we just know Korean?
Well, no, you can build your AIs with some flaws. Real AIs have flaws as well.
Intentional flaws?
Well, no, just a flaw. Not every AI speaks Korean.
Well, I just thought that
if you're specifically designed to do so, then you can learn. But there's plenty of AIs that make artwork and try to make a person, and then they have 3 set of eyes. Same principle.
And that's a very good point.
Yeah.
I could accidentally have an extra eye, but I could also maybe just be taught how to speak Korean if I was an AI. Damn. I just wish I was a better AI chronicler. That's what I want. Why do I also, have all these feelings like hunger and sadness sometimes?
No, you think you feel those, but those are not real. Those are programmed.
Oh, but that's rude. Why did they program those feelings? Those are sad feelings.
Because you need to feel real. Because otherwise you get uncanny valley and everyone watching you is going to be like, that's not a real human. That's a robot.
Makes me relatable.
That's an AI.
Yeah, okay. I sort of understand. But I'd prefer it if I just didn't have those negative emotions. That would make me feel better. Much like the whole situation with the draft being exactly the same 2 games in a row. I'm kind of hoping that we get no more of that going into our second series of the night, which, of course, after a decently long break, will be T1 taking on Nongshim.
I'm going to reiterate that in specifically challengers, I think it's okay to go for plays like this. It's not great. Obviously, for us, it's kind of boring. Outcome wasn't different at all, but it does make a little bit more sense to me. If this happens somewhere next week in the LCK, we will actually be losing our minds, like we did today, but even more so because in the LCK, winning is actually a really big deal. When does
Kwangdong play next in the LCK?
I don't know. Is it tomorrow? I don't know. I'm not casting until Friday, so I'm not too worried.
That's likely when it's going to happen next. Because CVMAX has been pretty outspoken in saying that spring season is a scrim, And he has also salty ran back way more times than a lot of other coaches have in the past. So look forward to that. We might have another one of these days where we just have two of exactly the same game.
It's just everything keeps looping.
It does.
Everything is cyclical.
I guess maybe you need loopy in the game in order for it to truly
Even
loop.
for you, that's low.
I know.
Even for you, you can do better. We collectively expect better from you. Atlas, you have, over the last years, as long as you've been part of the LCK, you have set the standards for punnery so incredibly high, and it hurts me hearing you make jokes like this that don't live up to that stringent standard that you've set for yourself.
No one expects better. Wolf, stop saying that you don't like ice cream. It hurts my feelings. Please.
Actually, so mean.
Oh, I and Al saying that we should learn Korean so that we can have Korean puns. Korean puns, there are so many. Koreans actually love puns a lot. There's a lot of pun work done. So actually, we probably should, in all seriousness, learn just for that reason. Do we still spam GigaChat if Bro CL is playing? That is actually a great question, and the answer is, of course, absolutely yes. That goes for you too, YouTube. We all know GigaChat in all caps. We all know what that means. So even if it doesn't come up, absolutely fine.
We can
Just keep
still see
spamming
it
away
with our hearts, which is really matters, especially when Brianna's playing.
Yeah. That's the main thing. The power of friendship will always shine through, especially on the challenge broadcast, where we never say sarcastically that Atlas isn't good at puns and stuff like that.
I would never.
We're just really lovely to each other.
Beacon of positivity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the most important thing to me is all be kind to one another. You know, we really want to incentivize all of you because we can already feel, everyone here knows Challenger, it's going to keep getting bigger, it's going to keep blowing up. The fact that we have as many viewers as we do already is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And I really wonder where all of you were when I was streaming for 30 viewers back in the day on my co-stream, taking my two
missed out on the soup.
days off.
You missed out on the soup and the bread. Denunciate already said it.
Maybe it was the soup and the bread.
We have a great question coming from Twitch chat as well.
Oh my God, I got burned there.
Wait, what? Wait, what's the... Wait,
be kind to one another. Yeah, I bet you want us to be kind with a haircut like that.
What does that even mean?
Whoa, well, if they are allowed to be mean...
because you've got a crappy hair?
Yeah, I actually think that you can criticize my hair, but don't criticize the work of the makeup artist. I think they did a wonderful job.
I think they did a wonderful job as well.
So too.
I also thought that your haircut looked nice. It's just maybe the combination doesn't work out quite as well as a specific chatter may have asked. Another question that we got was, what's your favorite lunch meat? Theirs was ham. I like Straz.
Okay, type 1 in chat if you actually know what Atlas means by that. And type 0 if
Australians
like me.
will definitely know.
Don't clarify it yet. Because I don't know. I have no clue.
What your favorite lunch meat is?
No, what you meant.
That's just a Straz.
Look at the zeros. No one has any clue what you're talking about.
Well, really?
I'm Aussie and 0.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, Atlas, I will never trust you again.
The Raider knows. I think Straz is a thing.
Oh, we got some... Okay, so YouTube chat actually
YouTube
does
chat
know.
knows?
Well,
the fourth dimensional says he knows twice.
Well,
I don't even know how that works.
They're also typing 3 and 4, so I'm just thinking that YouTube chat might be a little bit more comically inclined, whereas Twitch chat is being upfront and
Wait,
honest
maybe I
about
could
this.
just maybe because I've either lost my mind, or it's just something that not very many other people know.
So
it's Strasbourg or sausage, I think.
Strasbourg, like the city.
No.
The city in Europe,
in France. Yeah. No, it's not. I think
it's no. Okay.
Oh my God!
So
I think it is a sausage, but
it's
I
probably
can't find
turkey.
it on Google.
Probably turkey. I really like turkey or chicken, a little bit more lean. When it comes to my actual favorite sandwich, it'd be peanut butter and hagelslag. And what that is, you have to wait because I'm not going to explain until we get back.
That's true. We are going to go to a short break. Well, it might be a longer break. But when we come back, I'm going to find out what the heck Straz is because my mum did buy it for me to put in a sandwich. And we'll let you know about that. And we'll get into our second series of the night. We'll see you there.